everyone, welcome back to the Creator Shelf. You are joining me on a cold autumn, dark, cloudy, miserable day in Brussels. Perfect. Welcome to new subscribers. Welcome back to those who already know me. This is the Creator Shelf in Brussels. So as you can guess from the title, I have been sent a sample of a deck which is currently being funded on Kickstarter. The campaign is still running, and the creator of this deck is David Lee, who kindly reached out to me via Insta, and the illustrator of the deck is D. Yale Bernhardt. So I am so happy to have received a sample of the Power of the Yin Oracle deck. This is the front cover, and this is 17 cards out of 56 total that will be made. So they are on a silky smooth finish. It's one of those silky cardstocks, and the deck that I have, the cardstock is slightly thinner than what they will actually be producing. So just to give you just a brief overview, that this is just kind of like a sample kit that I've been sent. I was really excited to receive this. As soon as David Lee reached out to me, the first thing I said was like, I need to go and have a look, so I went to and started checking it out, and the first thing I just saw was gorgeous images that really resound with kind of like the decks that I like, some of my favorite decks. And so I just thought, yeah, I've got to give this a try. So I did receive this last night in the post, yesterday afternoon in the post. So just to give you an idea that I have only sat with it last night, this morning, and already just really blown away. But this is a initial kind of like response, initial thought, and I thought I'd share it with you. So yes, so this is the front of the deck. So this would be like a cover card, and then I'm thinking that we would also be receiving kind of like a quotation, and the quotation from David Lee says, "This deck springs from my original body of work, the Power of the Yin. I offer it with the prayer that it may be a treasured companion on your personal journey, guiding you toward your own remembering and emergence into the power of your Yin." So from what I understand, this deck was really kind of like made with the idea of how the energy of the yin, via this energy, we would be really looking at what our concepts and thoughts are behind power, and how it's, for me, the way I interpret it, let me put it that way because I think that's more fair. How I kind of like started to see it was this reclaiming of the word power and what it might mean to me. So, when in the past, power might be more masculine, or it may have certain connotations from just culture or my past history. This is kind of like reclaiming that word and allowing me to tap into the word power and what that means for me, and owning it in my own kind of like my own identity and how I identify as myself, basically. So I thought that was a really beautiful concept. I'm currently having a lot of discussions with friends about how I see myself. Let me put it that way, as a woman, the background I have, the cultures that I've crossed. I've lived in 4 different countries, 2 in Asia, 2 in Europe, and I'm born in the UK, and the complexity of not just where I was raised, the different religions I've experienced, the different traditions and cultures, foods, educational systems, and then family systems. And I really, I'm at a point in my life where I'm just actually currently looking at this, where I'm crossing another planetary phase. I'm coming out of that now, and it's really leaving its marks behind. And I'm also, because I am a Scorpio sun, I also have the South Node in my sign right now, which is pretty intense. If you are a Scorpio sun or rising or moon, you will know how heavy this period has been for us. So yeah, I just wanted to share that this deck comes at a really key time for me. So just giving you my personal kind of like entry or gateway as how I'm connecting with this deck. So it is currently being funded on Kickstarter, so I'm going to leave that link below, as well as a link to David Lee's website, and the website, sorry, for this this deck, which I think would be really helpful. And I just think that, I'll leave as much information as I can below so you can check it out. And I understand that the deck will be available late spring of 2023, so that will be amazing. So there you go. So first and foremost, let me start showing the images, because I think that's the main thing, right? The images and how I started to resonate with them. So first of all, the diversity is absolutely beautiful. I'm just, yeah, the first thing that struck me was diversity and the colors. The colors in this deck are just so sublime. I like the way that there is this merger with animal spirits and the natural world. I like how the female body is just really shown in all its glory. I like the fact that we're not just looking at one color palette. There is this, you know, I like these purples, these oranges, browns coming through, very earthy tones. I am personally a huge fan of green, and I like how green has popped into this deck. So yeah, I'm really just really loving it, basically, in terms of its artistry. And in terms of my personal journey, the first thing I thought about when I picked up this deck, to be honest with you, was I have the Wendy Andrews decks, which I love. They're my two favorite kind of like oracle decks. Wendy Andrews did, now the mind, it's gone out of my mind. She's done two decks. These are Goddess Love and Goddess Dreams. And I've got both. I use both. The only time of the year where I don't use both is, actually there is a time, summer and autumn. I use them more in winter and spring, which is interesting, right? When the light is coming through and when we have an emergence of light is when I use those decks. And why I mentioned them is that when I saw this deck and I started to look at it, it was like, wow, another kind of like deck which is like empowering and towards the female energy, but now a different kind of art. So the first thing that struck me was, wow, I have another very strong female powerful oracle deck, but it's not overlapping because it's very different art. It's just got this very what I'm feeling is more tribal in that sense, more tribal towards, let's say, perhaps the African continent. I've got a feeling of something like Australia sometimes when I see this as well. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the feeling I get. Very native, aboriginal, or yeah, there's something about this deck which is quite earthy. It's got a desert feel to it, and I don't know where that's coming from, but that's the feel that I'm getting. I love these, I just love her use of also shapes, so the geometries that are used. I got this card today, actually. My first pull is this card, which was just amazing. And we're going to do a sample reading anyway. The other thing I did do was that I actually reached out to Gigi Reicher over at Addercrat, and I asked her if she wanted a sample reading. I won't go into it, of course, because that's her personal reading, but I did pull a card, and the thoughts that she had was that this deck is, you know, it resonated. That's the words I'm going to use. It resonated, and I thought that was great, you know, just to see with somebody else, like, what do you think? So they had a sample reading of one card, and I just thought, you know, it'd be good to have some feedback of initial thoughts of somebody else as well. So yeah, I think that this has already proven itself to be something that I'm going to be really valuing in my collection. Just even the sample, you know, in the next months to use. So really grateful to Dave and Lee for her reaching out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sample pull. Now, the other thing about these decks is that the writing is at the back, but the borders, as you might already notice, the borders differ. And because they're differing, you can also use this with either aura colors or chakra colors, however you feel comfortable. I work more with aura energies rather than chakra. Sometimes there's an overlap, sometimes there isn't. Quite strange, I know, but true. I work more with those kind of energies, but I like them. But yeah, that was the other thing that I found really neat about this deck. So, you know, you can choose if you want to use it with, perhaps you have one of those decks that is kind of like a color deck. You know, I think there's Prism Oracle, and then there's another one called the Secret Language of Colors. I know I think that's an Ina Sigal deck, I think. And I know that's a popular one. So if you've got a color deck, maybe you might want to use this with it. So let's do a sample reading so that you get an idea. I would really encourage you to check out her website, because yeah, I just love decks that help me to connect with my female side more. And you know, my personal journey has been that I have always worked in corporate affairs. It wasn't really like, wow, I want to be in corporate affairs when I grow up. But It syncs with what I studied and so forth. And the interesting thing is that when I began my life, in the office world and that kind of thing, there was a lot of talk about this is creativity and then this is business. And I remember oh, I don't have a creative side. Sometimes people have said that. I'm like, it's all creative. We all have to tap into our creativity in order to live in this world, So first of all, I just don't have that black and white thinking. And the other thing is, and that's why it comes back to this deck again as well, is, the role of women, I think, has been a really, women in, people say women in leadership. I just think women overall in those settings, the discussion, I think, is just beginning. We're not even there yet. It's just beginning. And so, yeah, I have some very, as you can see, a lot of opinions about it and thoughts, but experiences too. So anyway, let me just pull a card randomly. Okay, so let's pull this one. I like this one. Language of body. So it says at the back here, listen as she speaks to you. She may not know at first what she's trying to say. Listen anyway. She may not be articulate, but she is fluent. Her language is not linear, but it is precise. She has her own signals, dialect, tone, and grammar. This is your original language. Listen, trust, and heed. Wow, so there's a lot of text here that we can work with, as you can see. And you can take any one of these and even have it as like a journal prompt, like listen, trust, and heed. What is that to you today? I was out running in the woods this morning, my Saturday morning run. And, again, as I was running, I could hear the crows, as I came out back onto this main part of the path, I could hear the crows. And then I saw people who were running into the park, it's a morning run, so more runners arriving. And there's just something about the ambiance sometimes for me when I'm running, which I really appreciate and value, like just listening to people having their, not listening to their conversation, but just that feeling of humanness. And then there's the quietness, and then there's the crows, and hearing sometimes acorns falling onto the ground and bark falling onto the ground, because we are in autumn and leaves coming down. There was just something about it very just soaking in the atmosphere. So yeah, there's just so much you can take. You can just take one of these and do your own prompt as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to spending my autumn and my winter with this deck for sure. I hope it is successful on Kickstarter, because I do believe that this can add so much to everyone's collection. I, for one, am just excited because, like I said, I love my Wendy Andrew decks. I love them. I will still use them. They will never part, that's for sure. I even need backups of those decks. But this, what happened was, as soon as I saw it, I thought, what a wonderful complement to those decks, and something new also to work with. So it's almost like, I have, my energy can again be revived now with new art forms, new messages. The quality of the cardstock is beautiful. I understand it's going to be slightly thicker after production. So yeah, the quality of the cardstock is lovely. It's that lovely silkiness, so very high quality. And yeah, as again I can say, I just absolutely love the colors and the shapes and the variety. I see so much here. There's words like non-negotiable, the liminal, surrender, the body, guidance, sensitivity, self-reverence, the Chothic, I don't know what that means. We're going to need more on that. This one's embodiment, grounding, self-cultivation, language of the body, integrity, self-knowledge, your vow, your voice, yes, receptivity. Oh, so if this is 17 cards, I'm really looking forward to 56 cards. Okay, 57 cards, sorry, 57 cards. So let me just check that because I said that. Yeah, 56 cards. But thank you everybody who's watched this preview / first impressions of a sample of the Power of Yin Oracle. All details will be left below. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday evening. I'm wishing you a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all next week. Take care now, bye.